So I want you to understand that all life and all humanity faces the same struggle, which is death. Now, any reasonable person cherishes life and they try to survive, which means they are trying to be immortal, because if you ever put a limit on the lifespan that you want to live, it means you're suicidal. So that means that all the reasonable people are stressed trying to find ways to be immortal. So we're talking about medical research, things to extend the lifespan as much as possible. All the reasonable people are working towards it. Now, we all have different opportunities. Okay, we come from different places, different financial situations. We know different people. Some of us can contribute more so than others to the cause of life extension. Now, I don't want to see people, do the best you can, but I don't want to see people do harm to themselves because they're, scrambling, trying to extend their life. So if you can't contribute to life extension, the medicine, all that stuff, having to go to college and getting involved in companies and the government and all this research, just try to live the longest, healthiest life you can and try to contribute in ways that you can, such as advocating for education and stuff and, communicating, trying to contribute in other ways that protect us, such as, lawful behavior, other things that are contributive to healthy living and like industry and stuff. I'm just saying that I know that all the logical people are trying to be immortal, and I know that there's no clear way, no clear path to immortality, and it seems impossible. But advocate for the pursuit. Okay, advocate for the pursuit of life extension. Try to contribute, and that's just how you live your life. Okay, you encourage people to try to extend their lives. You have to be fair about life extension. You have to have morals, and you just do the best you can. All right, I know we all want to be able to find the medicine and the technology and stuff to make us live forever, but it just doesn't seem possible. So a logical person is supposed to be pursuing life extension with hopes of immortality while maintaining morality. Now, you can't be a savage, okay, because that defeats the whole purpose of being alive. You can't just be trying to survive and being a savage, not worrying about fairness, okay, not worrying about the safety of other people, doing harm to others, all that stuff, because it defeats the purpose of life. The thing that we fear about death is loneliness. Death is utter loneliness. It is the absence of senses. We lose our ability to sense other life forms, other people. Okay, we are stuck with ourselves. Okay, we can't sense others. So the only thing that gives life meaning is community. Okay? Imagine being alive, but there is no other life form around. Somehow you're able to survive without other life. And you're in utter loneliness, and there's no possibility of creating life. Okay, that's the same thing as being dead. It's the same thing as having no senses if you can only sense, things that are not alive. You're just alone. Like, it's this, if you're eternally alone like that, it's the same thing as being dead. Okay, it's the same fear. That's the fear. Okay? The fear of death is being alone. Okay, the fear of being the only thing alive is the same. Okay, you're facing the same eternal loneliness. So when you're alive and you experience company, you don't want to be lonely, because that defeats the whole thing that we cherish about life, the thing that we're trying to preserve. So if you live a lonely life of savagery, okay, the only thing that eliminates loneliness is fellowship. It's fairness with people. Abiding by a set of laws that is for the greater good of humanity. Really, all life. So if you don't have that, you're just living in loneliness. And it's kind of like being dead, okay? It's the same fear. We fear the loneliness. But the difference of being alive and lonely and dead and lonely is that you still have the possibility to change when you're alive. You still have the opportunity to change your ways and experience fellowship. So don't waste your life being lonely and savage. Okay, the only thing that gives life meaning is fellowship, so live your life in fellowship. Die for it. Okay? So, as so many people do, all right, don't live your life as a savage. Don't be involved in this savage culture that gets promoted in the media, and it's like secretly promoted and implied amongst people and revealed and then redacted just to like intimidate. Don't get involved in the savage culture. Okay, you're not living. All right, you're basically already dead. The only difference is you still have the opportunity to stop doing it. Okay, you're living in the same thing that you fear. You're being a savage to try to stay alive, trying to prevent something that you're already experiencing. It's loneliness. These people act like there's some kind of a community amongst the savages. There's not. Okay, it's loneliness. It's the same as death, except you still have the chance to stop doing it and actually experience love and what is cherished about life. So you don't want to waste a moment in that state of loneliness and savagery. All right, you want to spend every moment of your life experiencing what it's meant for, what gives it meaning. And then what if there is punishment after death somehow? Okay, you don't want to set yourself up for punishment. The only way you can do that is through savagery or suicide. So the thing that gives life meaning, the thing that makes morality possible is death. Okay, if we've never faced death, there would be no good and evil. Okay, death is the measure of good and evil. So there would be no emotion, there would be no meaning without death having ever existed. So that's what makes our life mean something. Now, death is something that you're not trying to attain. Okay, you're not suicidal, you're trying to avoid it. Our life would be meaningless without it having ever existed, but you're trying to avoid it. And you have to try to avoid it in fellowship with whoever you're able to have fellowship with, whether it's humanity or other life forms that you have some kind of, more basic form of communication and companionship with. So that's wisdom, that's the meaning of life. Okay, that's what gives life meaning. Okay, that's the difference between being alive and being dead. It's about community, it's about having company, okay? Loving company that's looking out for the survival of each other. And you just can't be a savage. I hate the promotion of the savage behavior, the deceptive behavior, the savage behavior, the intimidation tactics. It's just, they're not living. There's nothing impressive about it. There's nothing to be envied about it. Doesn't matter how long they live. Okay, they've never actually experience what life is meant for. So, if you live a day in love compared to an eternity in selfishness, you won. So basically just don't be a savage, don't be suicidal, don't get caught up in false religions, okay? You have to acknowledge, all right, some religions are selfish, okay? They're harmful. Okay, they're murderous, they're selfish, they exclude honest, educated people, they're oppressive. Don't get caught up in false religions, all right? And you have to communicate with people, you have to learn about what fellowship really is, okay? Fellowship, community, it's about having laws, having rules of what is fair. So, we're humans, we've evolved, our communication has become more complex. We're able to articulate what fellowship is. So we have to continue to articulate law and fellowship, work towards perfection. Avoid the false religions, the harmful religions, okay? Be honest. When you experience that something's false like that and harmful, okay, don't be a part of it when it has ill intention. and just experience fellowship in life no matter